All right, welcome back, everybody. Hey, listen, one of the things I want to talk about is the deliverance of power, the technique, the speed behind our techniques that you watch in the self-defense that we teach you online. Now, I had a few people message me and was asking questions and making a comment or two about watching the videos. Now, most of these people that I get messages from, some of them are not from TONG IL LO. They don't understand this discipline, how it works, and they're familiar with a different system. So I kind of want to make this being taught to everybody, not just my students, but to everybody that wants to learn something other than what they already know. So it kind of enhances their techniques that they've already been shown by another instructor or a different system or so. So let me explain this. This is really for everybody. When we teach the self-defense online, okay, or in classroom as well, yes, we teach it slow and as scientific as possible, understanding what the steps that you are doing are for, which way you're moving, and so forth. So the techniques, they do look good, they do look nice when performed in quarter speed or so. So let me explain something. In real combat, first of all, I'm going to tell you absolutely, it doesn't matter what system you may be studying, whether it be TONG IL LO or whatever. In street combat, when self-defense, everything that you're learning is based on theory. Now the theory is a person is directly next to you doing this certain technique, a punch or a jab, or sticking you with a knife or something, whatever the technique that you are studying at that time, the self-defense technique. So it's based on theory. That person's there at that specific time. That person has that specific height, that specific arm reach, and so forth. It's all based on theory. We know that in a real life situation out on the street, it doesn't happen that way. Okay? So you practice to the best of your abilities the techniques that you learn, the footwork that is needed, and how to deliver the proper strikes more powerfully, using hands, using legs, whatever. So the first thing I want to explain is when we look at those techniques that you are learning online, TONG IL LO or wherever, okay? When we do this, we do it quarter speed so you can see the movements, so you can see how that works. But as you start to get better, we want you to speed up. We want you to get more familiar and develop that muscle memory. So every time that punch comes in, you block a specific way that's being told to block. Or if somebody's grabbing you, you react the way you were trained to react, but you speed up that technique. We want you to develop the speed significantly and be more agile and powerful. The power comes in when you're punching or blocking, striking with the hands, comes from the upper body, the torso and the shoulder area. So we want to kind of a little bit exaggerate in our system, exaggerate the torque of that shoulders. When I'm striking with a punch, I'm not striking like this. That's a pretty good punch, and I can lock it out if you were to do some kind of combat form or whatever. It looks really pretty and everything, but it's not as effective as if you go through by turning the shoulder and you exaggerate a little bit that torque, letting the body turn and the deliverance of the shoulder to have more extension into the target. The same thing with a kick. If I was to kick, you don't want to just kick like this, and I'll show you from this angle so you can see. You don't want to kick like this. Let's just say a simple front kick. Yeah, that's a good front kick. It's a snap kick. It's pretty, but it could be so much more. In our system, we incorporate power with speed and we blend them together. So what we want our power, anything from the upper body, hands, elbows, the power comes from the shoulder, chest line. From the lower body, knees, kicks, whatnot, comes from the hip line, okay? The torso, abdomen area, and the hip line. So if I was to do a front kick, instead of like this, where it's just right here, and my hips are squared straight underneath my shoulder, I want to extend it. I want to go through my target, whether it be a knee or a kick or whatever. I want to extend through. So that's going to be delivering more extension, creating more power, because you're going to have more power in your hips. That's just it's going to be trying. The idea is trying to have your technique as simple but as effective as you can possibly have. Okay, so that kind of gives you the idea. And then the speed, we're going to come back and talk about that in just one moment. All right, so now I'm bringing Mr. Anderson back in so that we can demonstrate what I was telling you about as far as the speed, the agility, the power, and so forth. Okay, now if you remember, going back to any one of our videos that teaches the self-defense, we go kind of at quarter speed because we try to maintain, we don't want to hurt each other, we try to maintain good distance and appropriate power. So when we actually do strike, we pull our punches, so we're not really hurting each other. We're not tapping, but we're not going through with our shoulders and our hips when we're expanding the kick or the punch into the attacker. So I want you guys to understand that. When you have a partner, you want to be a good bad guy, first of all. Okay? A good bad guy versus a bad guy. In theatrics, now we're talking showmanship, because he's there to help me better my technique, to make me feel more comfortable. And so at the same time, I'm here, I want to learn distance, timing, and control on my technique so I don't hurt him. Okay? I want him to keep coming back and grabbing me and punching me so he can be a dynamic assistant to me, and vice versa. When I help him out on his techniques, he doesn't want me to be afraid of his techniques. So when you're a good bad guy, kind of being aware of the techniques that we're delivering, be aware of it, but kind of hold your ground, because if you flinch a different way and a technique is coming in like a ridge hand and he flinches this way, my deliverance might be off and I might actually hit him, and we don't want that. So if we're squared off like so, and Mr. Anderson we have distance in our defense techniques. Is he's coming in with a strike or something, boom. I'm doing this quarterly, the quarter speed, and look at my shoulders. Remember what I told you? I want to extend, because that's where my power comes from in all reality. In all reality, I want to control my technique, how far I'm from him, and pull my punches, pull my kicks. But in all reality, if this was a real situation, on a street situation, I want to go through and learn. Do you see what I'm doing? Look at my arm's not even straight. If it was straight, I would push him, I would throw him so far back with the energy being delivered. Okay? Once you, let's just say some of our techniques we do, like one of our techniques we do, like kimono grab. Why don't you stand on this side, sir, just for a moment? Okay, so kimono grabs against a lapel grab. Okay, lapel grab. So if I was to do kimono grab, yeah, when we're doing this, I tell you to step back, and I'm doing this, and I'm coming up high, and I'm doing all the good stuff to do the technique. So that's when I'm teaching it. So when all reality, I want to develop that self-control where I'm not really hurting him. I am jarring his body, but it's not going through with power. And eventually, I'm developing good speed. So by the time it really does happen, it grabs. It's power. Everything is there. And you can feel the energy just by me doing this, coming low to his groin. You can kind of feel it, just visually going, ooh, that's gonna hurt. Well, it really would, but I'm only about an inch away from his groin. If I was right here and I'm throwing a back fist, and from your view, it looks like I actually made contact. But if you really look from this angle, I'm only about an inch, maybe 2 inches away from his head. So same thing with a punch. The deliverance, once you start developing muscle memory and understanding depth distance control, and your timing, a good student will stay there. Because again, if he didn't stay there, if he reacted and worried about getting hit by his partner, he probably will get hit because he might move a different direction. And then my 1 inch away from his groin might actually be 1 inch through his groin. And he was going to really feel the technique. Same thing if he just stands there. Don't do this until you develop the actual self-control on pulling punches. Don't do this to your family member or a partner at the very beginning. But a good martial artist, good instructor, a good black belt should be able to throw a punch, and I could stop that punch about 1 inch away from his nose with no problem. So if he squared off right here, just would square off like this. I'm going to lower his hands just so you can kind of see he's trying to defend himself. But if I was to throw a punch right here, full power, right there, if I stopped it, right there, look at that. See, it's an inch. But look at that. Look at my shoulder. Look at my shoulder right here. It's not turned. I'm going to go higher. It's not turned into the target. I've learned how far to actually go and judge my distance to where I don't actually touch his hand, but I can just a little bit. But if I wanted to go a little bit more further out, I can. Just like this. And then do the same thing, same technique. When you have a weapon against a weapon, such as a stick, or in this case, Mr. Anderson, he has a knife, okay? You want to do the same thing. So if he's like holding a knife, like a knife thread, go ahead and switch position like your thread. No, the other way. So, yeah, I just want to show him this way because the knife is going to go in that direction. You want to, there's a technique higher level that we teach, and it's just a knife thread. Somebody putting a blade to your body or your neck and just holding you at standpoint, demanding whatever they're demanding. You want to acknowledge that you still want your partner to do this again and again and again and again, versus in a real life situation you go full throttle and hopefully it's over with. So on this one, I develop like this, and he picks it back up. Go ahead and do it again. So this one I just strike the inside of the wrist and the back of the hand at the same time, and he's kind of holding it loosely because he doesn't want to get hurt or anything. But in all reality, it's going to be, I'm going to develop the muscle memory, the timing, the distance control. So it's automatic, boom, and it's however I want to control my opponent from that point thereof, And if I wanted to continue with the technique, whatever, right there. Now I need them. I have a question. Did it hurt you? A little bit. A little bit. So I touched him right here, but like I said, we will make a little bit of contact, but I'm not going to hurt him. I'm not going to really. He's going to come back. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys understand this, so that you know that when we're doing the self-defense techniques, when we're actually teaching whatever level, and why we're doing it at kind of quarter speed, slow speed, why that is, it's to develop the proper stances, the proper direction upon which way to turn, how to strike, okay? And then once you got it, you start picking up speed a little bit at a time until you've mastered it, okay? I hope that this helps out. Nathan Anderson is a great black belt, and he's been around me for a long time, so he's seen how I do this stuff. And he can do the same thing as I can, but he can actually tell you himself that it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. You don't want to actually just think that you know it. You've got to know it. So you want to kind of shed a little bit of light on that real quick from your own experience?
From my own experiences, it takes roughly like 5 years to even get a grasp of like proper control with any technique. If you want to be the way you're showing, you just punch and be like
Notice I didn't even move.
Yeah, just be an inch away. Like the proper control and everything, it's at least 5 years, and then even advanced, it'd probably be even 10 years. So
yeah. And again, if I was a novice, if I was really worried about getting punched, I might flinch. If I flinch, his hand's already 1 inch away from me, but if I flinch and I move in, now he's made contact and I get injured. So that's what I was trying to tell you, and I think that's what he's trying to emphasize too. It takes time, it takes practice, and I hope this helps you out in understanding what we're doing here, how we're teaching it, and I hope that it betters your success as a martial artist.
Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to click on the subscribe button on the YouTube channel for more videos like this. And if you have any questions about our programs, please go to tongillo.com and click on Contact Us.